We're at the home of Steve Stevens in South Golden. Steve, tell us about your house and its sustainable features.
Okay. Hi, Jim, and welcome. I want to talk about 4 categories. The house is one, and it's got both a heating and electrical aspect. The transportation is one, and it's got electric car and bicycle aspects. Food is one, and food has a lot of aspects. It has production, cooking, and distribution and cooking. And you know, I'll get to the 4th one when my mind wakes up, but we're good. Let's start out here on transportation. The plug-in conversion of a Prius, the Chevy Volt, and the bicycle. Now, the plug-in conversion does about 100 miles per gallon when you've got the charge and you get 35 miles of charge, and that drops down to normal Prius. The Volt, for me, I'm getting between 40 and 50 miles on electric charge, and if you look up to the roof line, you see 4 of the 48 photovoltaic panels, and the 48 photovoltaic panels give approximately 10,000 watts of power at peak. Now, moving to food, I'll point out first the cooking. You can use the sun, and this sun oven, actually right now it's at about 260 degrees, and I've got a casserole in here with a lot of things out of the garden, and it'll be done probably before noon. I put it out this morning. But then there's food production, and you can grow your own food, and of course the sun is what's powering that. So let's go hike over into the garden. This peach tree last year was amazingly productive. It's a semi-dwarf. There's a pear tree. Last year it was barely a sprout. That gave me 20 monster peaches when it was barely a sprout. This year we had an April day that got down to 1 degree. All the blossoms were taken off. So this year I didn't get peaches. Oh, I will just point out back on the Chevy Volt, that's where you plug it in. On the far side, there is the gas entry for the backup. Chevy Volt will go 40 to 50 miles on electricity, but then it starts generating its own with gas.
Yeah, truth in advertising, it's much lower in the winter.
Yeah, that's the 40. I get the 40 in the winter. I get the 50 in the summer.
Okay.
Another peach tree, a couple apple trees, a couple plum trees. We're going to come around the garden this way. And by the way, you may find it's kind of fun. Every now and then you run into little things like the squashes are climbing the apple tree. And I'm going to have you just shoot down here for a second while I take
there's some grapes.
Some grapes, and we'll just do a snip. Whoops, and I almost caught him, but I didn't. And then I'll grab some chard from under the pumpkin patch. In the spring, the chard was being eaten by the deer before I could get it. Now that the pumpkins are covering up, the chard's still growing, and I'm getting chard. You can see that the pumpkins
holy mackerel,
get kind of big.
Yeah.
And that's because this terrible soil on the side of South Lookout Mountain, or South Table Mountain, I've enhanced dramatically with alpaca poo and biochar. Biochar permanently sequesters carbon as a side effect. And then there's tomatoes, and there's none right now that are ripe. I've gotten a lot. And there's another pumpkin running right through the tomatoes. There's some hot peppers. And the garlic tops and bottoms, we'll just take some of the tops. And then if you like stuff really hot, you can go with these. I don't know that you want to eat one right now because it's really hot.
My wife would like it.
She would? Hey, I'll give you some to take home. Now you can see that same pumpkin plant started way up there. It's come through the broccoli, come through tomatoes, and it continues down here, and it's doing more and more. There's beans in here. May as well, while we're here, just cut.
Do your pumpkins turn pumpkin color, or is
They
that?
will, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll take a little bit of the broccoli off, and take a little bit of the kale.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab some.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had lunch yet.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to be fast on this.
fact, I'm hoping you'll give me some casserole.
Okay, we'll see if it's ready. And cucumbers, and now coming over here. By the way, in the casserole, here's.
Oh, nice summer squash.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
You know, you're going to take this one home to Rita.
Oh, okay. Thank
put
you.
it on the step.
Oh, love it.
And they're good, sliced, put in olive oil, salt and pepper, and grilled. Now, this year I'm having good luck with my okra. And see the size of this guy?
Holy mackerel, I didn't know okra got that big.
I didn't either, but Alpaca Poo and Biochar does amazing things. So, I mean, that's a pretty good.
That is a huge okra. I'm not fond of them, but
Well,
I appreciate size.
cut them in half, put them in your grill in a George Foreman, and with a little olive oil on them, and they're really good. Or make gumbo. I'm gonna.
Any eggplant? I love eggplant.
You know, this year I didn't do eggplant. What I'm gonna do now is just show you the. We've pretty much gotten the food production and the food cooking. So by doing your own production, you save transportation, energy, you save the tractors in the farmers' fields, you save a lot of energy. I'm going to just show you something else here. In Colorado, there's interesting water laws. And they do let you detain but not retain water. So you can take roof water for 72 hours. We had a monster storm yesterday.
Is that a new law?
No, this is the old.
This is the old law.
Yeah. And so here is my detention. And
That's all rainwater.
that's all rainwater. And
it's
you get
legal.
72 hours.
Okay.
I have to dump it after that.
Okay.
Now, this project, which is 3 stories on the back, on a 1-story house, a ranch house with a basement, is the Passy Solar and Greenhouse with an integrated deck. And this one went on a couple years ago. We're going to go in. You're going to see airlock entries. Every entry of the house has an airlock. Some have an airlock on an airlock. And you'll see the greenhouse briefly. Then we'll go on up, and you'll see the Passy Solar.
So you grow vegetables in the winter?
I grow a little bit in the winter. The interesting thing is the top is a area for drying vegetables. So I can take summer vegetables, dry them up there, preserve them for the winter. I can do the grapes into raisins. I can do pumpkins, which are squash, into dried pumpkin, and then I can reconstitute it in the winter.
Okay.
So
So your pumpkins are all for eating?
well, you know, I'm going to have to give the grandkids something to carve. But the greenhouse, and when you were last here, I think the banana trees were much smaller.
Yeah, they're really grown.
Yeah, but I'll point out, here is a mandarin orange.
Oh.
It's not orange yet. There's a couple oranges, one back there and one there. There's stevia, the good natural sweetener, and if you want to chew on that,
Yeah,
go
I'll make
ahead.
sure that.
And then I got a lot of aloe vera down there. I've got
Oh boy, that's sweet.
kumquat. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Kumquat. And then I'll just turn on real briefly the climate battery.
Do you
which
harvest the stevia into something you can
I
put in
it
your
my-
drinks?
I put it in my green drink.
Do you put it in as a leaf or do you
I put
grind?
it in as a leaf because the green drink mixes it all up.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna, now, here in the middle of winter, I get a lot of heat coming into the south side. That's sucking the hot air, taking it down in the ground, and it's going through 3 tubes, and that's heating the soil in the day. And by heating the soil, then at night, that slowly radiates back, and it keeps the chill off.
And it also grows things?
And well,
In the winter?
plants love warm toes. So I'll just turn it on. It's thermostatically controlled.
So are we done in here?
We're just about done. I'll just point out another thing. This is arthritis plant. You chew on that, and if you do 2 leaves a day,
Gives you arthritis?
No, it does. And I'm going to go ahead and have my stevia. And I got blueberries out there, and more grapes around and raspberries. But we'll go on around, and
past these bananas. Are you going to have a crop of bananas this year?
I'm hoping to.
No little ones yet?
No, they put out 54 leaves before they send the flowering spike. That's the fruiting spike.
Really? 54?
54. And when they do the flowering spike, they come one time and they're done. Oh, the babies though, they reproduce. You see the junior?
Oh, yeah.
Called a pup. He's big enough I could separate him now, and he'd be another banana tree. And all of these are from pups from previous ones.
Literally 54 leaves before they...
I think that's the number that I remember reading.
Okay.
So, and I didn't count on these. I don't know where I am, you know.
Yeah.
Now, in this room, these are just tanks of water for thermal mass to stabilize winter temperatures. It sucks in heat, it slowly
Does that
releases.
water go anywhere?
No. And
Just stays here.
Similarly, those. So they're a mass, thermal mass.
But plastic's an insulator, so how does that mass help you?
Let me tell you, it's an insulator if you get a lot of thickness. It's not, there's a lot of surface.
So this does provide heat in the winter.
It
In
stabilizes.
this airlock. We're in an airlock.
Yeah, this is the airlock. Instead of being that, it's that.
Okay, got it. Okay, we're going upstairs now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'll just mention, in there was some, the glass for the railing is all recycled ice cream freezer doors,
You mean reused?
reused.
Yeah.
Yeah, ice cream freezer doors from Safeway, triple glazed tempered, and all of the wood through the whole construction is what was considered called a little twisty redwood, and it's all factory or forest certified new growth. It's not old growth, and all of the doors and windows are things that were ordered but misordered, and so at Lowe's they sell them. And that $4,200 door was $600. It's a Pella French, triple glazed with shutter, aluminum wrapped wood, and that was $1,000 double Pella window for $100, and
All because they were misordered?
because they're misordered.
Now, none of this lumber was not culled because these 2x10s look really good.
Yeah, these are 2x12s with a trim.
2x12s.
You work hard to get them sort of straight.
Okay.
You work real hard. They were
But really,
75%
this is
discount.
entirely cull lumber
It's
from
all
Lowe's.
entirely cull lumber from Lowe's. Now, before we go in, I do want to point. Oh, this was a pup on one of the banana trees.
Oh, I see.
I got a friend there.
And we should mention, really, that buying cull lumber is not just a matter of being cheap. It's a matter of sustainability.
It is using what's otherwise cast off. These are the boards.
Yeah.
When people went in, they sided and they said, "That's straight. I take it. That's straight. I take it. That's straight." And they, "Oh, that's a little curvy. I don't want to do the work." And they put
Right.
Those get bundled up, and depending on how many, when I was buying them, they're 75% off. Before that, there are times they're 90.
So you
Now
are
they're about
cheap,
50.
but it's also sustainable.
Yeah. Now, I want to just point out, you see a little bit of the top here, and this is insulating the foundation.
Right.
Don't do it on as hot a day as I did. I got very sweaty, but you put it in and then you seal the
That's
top.
this wall we're
That's
looking
this
at.
wall right
so you
here.
put styrofoam or polystyrene.
Yeah.
Or is that polystyrene? No, that's something
This
else.
is polyisocyanurate.
Yeah.
This is our 7.2 per inch.
Yeah.
It's
7.2 what per inch?
our value.
Oh,
R.
okay. Got it.
And so 4 inches says
Makes
you
a
got
big
about
difference.
R30 on what the concrete was less than R1.
Yeah.
So it's outrageous difference.
Yeah.
And then on the inside of that wall, the inside had false cavity. I blew that full of fiberglass between the framed or the concrete and the studding for the finish off. And so I got another R25 with hard pack.
Why fiberglass instead of foam?
Well, foam, it expands and you could pop your wall out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
popcorn.
yeah.
And instead of cellulose, because it's below grade, every place else I put cellulose in is below grade.
Could
If you get
cause
any
mold
moisture,
if there's moisture, yeah.
If you get any moisture, it turns into your Sunday morning newspaper
Yeah.
on the sidewalk.
Yeah, wet fiberglass will not
Right.
breed mold.
Yeah, it'll breathe enough. It's not as good an insulation as a hard packed cellulose. So the outside I've done foundation and inside. I sealed with foam all the outlets, made things tight. A good, just before we go in, just real quickly. Oh, that's asparagus. There's cucumbers in there and strawberries. But this is.
Oh yeah, you can see the. Oh, you had 2 layers. It looks thicker than what
Actually,
you were showing me in the picture.
Yeah, well, this side, which is the west, the north I did more. That's basically a 5.5 inch.
Yeah.
And so that gets me our 38.
This because it's the north side.
Because, yeah, and I backfilled dirt here and brought in these rocks from the back when I built that, because these were decorators in the backyard, and had to get them out of the way, so they became decor here.
So again, sustainability because you didn't truck away your excess dirt.
Right. It all got
No
relocated.
transportation costs or carbon footprint for that.
And all of these rocks are things that I pulled out when I was digging the foundation or digging plants. They're all off the site. And they're rim rock that had tumbled down from South Table Mountain. So this, and I'm going to change to my house shoes.
I'll take off mine.
I ruined a heel a while ago, and I can't run around barefoot like I used to because it hurts like heck. So that's why I got house shoes now. But anyway, so basically the yard is mainly converted from lawn to food production. This bottom area gets a lot more shade, so I haven't quite done that. There's more lumber for a future project. Here we're coming into the airlock to the Passive Solar Edition. Now, the Passive Solar Edition, I try to point out that here's the whole point of everything. And so the sun, I'm trying to catch it and keep it. The catch it is through solar photovoltaics, through passive solar. The keep it is through super insulation and sealing. So you try to not have airflow through the house, and airlocks help you seal because you open one, go in, shut it, and then you open the other so you don't get drafts. Now, I like to put double purpose on every airlock. So the airlock downstairs is a potting shed into the greenhouse. This airlock into the passive solar space is actually my outdoor sports storage area.
Okay.
So here's 2 of the bikes that are daily rider bikes. I should probably turn on the light in here. And then the other one was outside. And then there's hiking poles and snowshoes and etc. And yeah, you can pull that shut. And so this has things, very convenient place. I go out, put on my biking shoes. Then coming in, this space is the main passive solar area. I want to real quickly point out that doing these things, natural gas usage has gone down, and this is 2012, that's 2000. Electricity went down past 0 when I put the with the photovoltaics on, but since the plug-in cars, my surplus is being eaten away, but that's okay because I'm saving gasoline.
Yep.
And from a carbon standpoint, my CO2 emissions passed net zero in 2007, and so I'm negative carbon. I'm pulling carbon out of the sky, and my source BTUs also 2007 crossed 0. I'm going to just give you the view before and the view after on the outside. This is the house in 2010. This is the house basically now, so the deck and all of that's new on the back. There's another addition. If you look at the back, here is 2007 from the back. We're in the room that's just outside here.
Right.
In fact, that window is right here.
Right. Okay.
And
Because we are one flight up.
yeah, and on the back because it's a walkout.
Yeah.
That deck came down and became the other addition, and there's that. And then this area became that, and we're right in here.
Right.
Now, this space has an outer and an inner. It's got
Right.
an envelope.
It's an envelope, yeah.
And that's to let hot air flow up in the winter. Right now, we're in summer, so I'm having everything breathe. But the hot air in the winter will just, and I can, right now, at the upper level, I'm venting, and I can open and close vent windows there.
But it's 100 and what there?
It's 110 in the envelope.
Yep. But it's
But it's
comfortable
in
in here.
venting, it's in venting mode. Yeah, it's about 95,
Oh.
93 in here.
Right, okay.
So it's, now, this sun I didn't get hung, it'll be here. That sun from West Africa will be there, because that's symbolic of what's happening here is the sun.
Right.
But now the third level, and I should have had that guy. The third level, when you were here before, this is where the grapes can become raisins and all other
Right,
produce.
because it's really hot up there.
Yeah, and it's not as hot as the other time you're here. You can take a quick view.
Yeah. Okay.
Without burning your feet too much. Okay. Just get up and down quickly. Wow. And so that's, I can dry an awful lot of food up there.
Yeah, that's a dryer, that round thing with
Yeah.
levels in
And
it
then
is
the
where you put
shelves.
food for drying it.
And the shelves on the left are.
Oh, these shelves over
Yeah.
here, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
then-
climbing a ladder without shoes is a little uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So, so this is Massive Solar Collection. Of course, this space is double purposed. For the winter, it's my workout space, and Goodwill gets all kinds of things that people didn't use,
Yeah.
and you end up between $7 and $11 you buy them.
Yeah, right. So,
Now, really quickly, and Santa, and we all know him, he is concerned that the floating ice that his workshop is on is melting.
yeah, that's true.
And this is the bike that he rode for his deliveries before the Wright brothers taught the reindeer how to fly. And he does come back. And there's a lot of documentation about him doing that. So we're going to go inside.
That's a preview of the fact that you have like 40 of those bicycles, many of them downstairs.
We won't worry about that.
Yeah, this is nice and cool. How is this house cooled?
It's cooled with super insulation and occasional evaporative cooling. When you're up in the top, you saw the 3 ducts that go into a powered box to take the air out of the heat there.
Right.
But at the hot area, the plenum, the solar plenum, and distribute it to the north end of the house. In the summer, at 5 in the morning, it will bring the cool night air and it'll distribute it. So it's a whole house fan in the summer.
Got it.
And it works the other way in the winter. And it was designed for the winter. Now the wall over
And
there.
your evaporative cooler is actually in an enclosed porch rather than on your roof.
That's right. It was on the.
It was outdoors originally.
It was outdoors before this space was built. So we're going to come out to the first sunroom, and since you're here, I got to just briefly the airflow pattern. See this little stand for the lady who's presenting the 1896 story of making a bike.
Yeah.
That's all to cover up the fact that that's an air duct.
Oh, okay. Fine.
This is an air duct.
Bringing air from where to where? From
It's from there to from passive solar number 1 preheater
Yeah.
to passive solar number 2 big furnace.
oh, okay.
And so this is passive solar number 1,
This used to be a wood deck, right?
an outside wood deck. And so what I want you to see is that it's got an envelope now too. And when you
Oh,
were
yes,
here
it
before,
does.
didn't have- and that envelope is also the clothes dryer.
Yeah. Solar clothes dryer.
And so the construction for that, I did my own drawings, my own material collection, and took them to the city, got my permit, and so the air path goes through there when I'm heating.
Right.
And it goes then under the lady, and then out and up, and then it comes into the house, and I'll show you where in a little bit.
Okay.
What I'm going to do first is just show you that the super insulation, you saw the shelf in there, this is the dining room, building it out, and this is what it's built out with.
Wow. Each wall is that thick.
That thick, added to the wall.
Added. Well, the wood
On
is
the
added
inside,
to the wall.
yes, that's the final inside finish.
Oh, I see. So that's the 2x4 that you're.
No, that's the redwood decking that I've routed
Oh.
to be an interior finish
Oh, I see. Okay.
and shiplapped.
Oh, okay.
And so, but I built it out with an OSB as a screw surface, and then I put on the redwood. And so you see here, here's the beginning of the redwood.
Got it.
It's been routed like that, and there's the finished dining
Oh,
room.
right, because this last one here actually has a
It has
wood surface, a particle board.
Board surface, right.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Now,
So really, that what looks like a 2x4 is really your
that's the redwood finish. Yeah.
your paneling, right?
And you can do this on the outside or the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of the dining room, I did the inside. We'll see it in a minute. But then I also did the kitchen and dining room on the outside, and that's that same dining room window. I built out with lots of layers, so that wall over there, when you were here before, it was R68. It's now R104. And the inside, this shows a little bit. In the first room I did this, I had a tube filled with cellulose compressing, the hard dense cellulose compressing the fiberglass that had been there, a patching, and then a beginning of layering, continuing to layer, and getting, the whole thing.
Right.
And so you can do inside or outside. On the outside, I put the same siding up that I took down. So now I want to just emphasize, you lived in Maui. I remember you told me that. And so you knew that Maui is a demigod.
Right.
And he was a solar energy proponent.
Right.
So one day, because they couldn't grow food, they only were fishermen, Polynesian fishermen, he went and he took his fishing net and he went to the top of Mount Haleakala, and then at noon he cast his net to the sky, snared the sun, dug in his heels, and he slowed it. And now they have sugar cane, they have pineapples, and all kinds of good stuff in Hawaii. So, oh, by the way, for the outside, that's the siding that came down that went back up, just laid out, numbered and laid out in the driveway for the process.
Oh, so the siding that we see outside is the original siding.
The original siding came down,
Yep.
went back up.
Yeah.
In the meantime, caulked all the nail holes, pre-painted, and then once it was up, painted again.
Yeah.
Now, given that Maui has certain skills, here's the carbon footprint. Here's Maui catching the sun, a reduced carbon footprint, and then the super insulation.
Reduced carbon footprint, I see. And then,
You get to no carbon footprint.
oh, yeah, no
In fact,
footprint at all.
negative carbon footprint.
Okay.
Now, I want to point out tools for the homeowner include these, which let you find your cold spots. Right there, it says the temperature is 74.8 degrees. You can go around the house in the winter and you can get lots of pinpoints. And this is a 1 pixel infrared camera.
How much do those cost?
Between 19 and 59 bucks.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah, that's a homeowner
Okay.
tool.
This device, which is a camera,
This is an infrared camera.
that's a little more expensive.
It's a little more expensive. You turn it on, and welcome to the world.
Okay.
So this infrared camera is telling you at the X that it's 78 degrees. And if you move it around, and it gives you a full color scale on the side over here with the range of temperatures. So, and you can take pictures. So let's just come over and see that the window, actually the hot spot on the window is at 81. Now it's at 86 as you move around, but the wood in between's at 78, 77. Now the 1 pixel guy just would have given you that number, but this gives you a whole picture.
Right.
And so you can see where your hot and cold spots are. Now, I'll turn that off, and this is an airlock to the house, except when it's in the pumping mode for heating
Right.
the house.
Right.
This is an airlock then for coming in here.
Right.
So I've got airlocks on airlocks. The other thing I'm going to point out here is that when you think policy, the only patriotic energy policy is to use the sun. It's rooted in the sun.
Right. Okay, got it. Okay.
And as this bike shows,
That's your 4th of July bike.
4th of July bike, and you notice it's very patriotic, but it's a patriotism that's not a us versus them patriotism. It's a patriotism that says we got to work together, caring and sharing. And in fact, you see the green tree
Oh, yeah.
And you see that the polar bear is riding it. We want to preserve something for the polar bears.
Right. Okay, good. Okay.
So we're going to come in. This was the outside door before 2007. And so we're going to come into the house. And now, yeah, the sun tunnels up there, there's no lights on and there's no window any place nearby that's open. I mean, the curtains are down on
There's that siding, by the way, that
That's-
you were just showing me.
Yeah, and notice this, just shoot into here so you can see how I played the electrical.
Well, how thick the wall is. You know,
And
so
I-
the outlet, that used to be where the wall is. And how deep is that? About 10 inches?
It's 10 from there, yeah.
Yeah.
This is 2 by 12 right here. But then you'll see that I went out also, and you'll see that there. So I've got 22 inches total of wall,
Yeah.
and that's R104.
It's about the thickness of a straw bale house.
It's about, but it's a far better insulation material because this is polyisocyanide foam.
Yeah, right.
So I got R104 on this.
R104.
R104.
I've never seen numbers in the 3 digits.
Well, nobody ever believes that until they come and they go, wow, you really do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna just come through. So these two air ducts up here are coming from the passive solar.
Where the fruit's being dried.
Yeah, where the stuff.
In the winter only.
Right, and so I got two 12-inch ducts here, and then there's also a 12-inch duct going into the hall bath and one going down to the furnace room that has the heat pump water heater. So it's bringing hot air in because the heat pump water heater is taking heat out of the ambient and putting it into the water. Mainly it's extracting it out of the concrete floor, but it's also getting a donation of a 6-inch line coming down what used to be the chimney route from the top. We'll go down very well, but before we do, notice how well the wall is lit up at the top.
Yeah. The fact that it's so diffused.
It's so diffused, it's going out
Yeah.
at 175 degrees.
Right.
And there's no lights on in here. That's
Right.
just the sun.
Right.
We're in the basement now in the utility room, so there's 3 things I want to point out. First, the gas furnace that was here from the 1970s is gone, and this is a 95.5 efficiency Amana condensing furnace, and so the chimney goes out the sidewall and plastic pipes because the exhaust gases are not hot. It's also bringing in the combustion gases from outside. Now, this is a GE heat pump water heater.
Electric.
It's electric. I had a gas. I'm trying to get rid of gas. I've reduced my gas almost 95% from 1,095 therms to 62 therms last year. But this top part on top of the 50-gallon water tank is electric, and it's going and air conditioner backwards. It is taking heat out of the room, which is mainly out of the concrete floor and cave temperatures, and compressing and putting it into here. I am from the back passive solar addition. I do have this hot air flow coming down what used to be the chimney.
So it's providing the hot air for this
To be even-
extract
Yeah.
and put into water.
Yeah, and it's adding, the whole system worked before, but that makes it more efficient because I'm getting a hotter base.
The warmer this room is, the more efficient the
heat pump
process
water.
heat pump is.
Now, I haven't yet installed this,
What's that?
but this is a energy saving air circulation system, bringing in outside fresh air, because I've sealed the house a lot. I don't have it dangerously sealed yet, but when I get this installed, it brings in, it's a ventilator, energy recovery ventilator, ERV. There's also heat recovery ventilators. Heat recovery save 65% of the heat that would have gone out. This saves 95% of the heat that would have gone out. So the air going out gets cooled and the air coming in gets heated with that.
Okay.
So there's, and I haven't got it installed, it's just sitting here, but I want to just get that as an issue. that people need to think about.
Yeah.
Because the tighter you make your house, the more you do need to ventilate, and you want to save the heat.
Right,
when you do it.
right.
We're back upstairs now and looking at the 22-inch sun tunnels, Velux sun tunnels in the living room, and then coming over to the hall. And these are 14-inch Velux sun tunnels. The sun tunnels come in 10, 14, and 22-inch sizes. What you see at a store is usually a 10, and you get twice the light out of a 14 and almost 5 times the light out of a 22. I highly recommend 14s for halls, 22s for living rooms, 14s for small bathrooms.
I have 3 22s in my office plus a 14, and we hardly ever turn on the lights.
And I never turn on.
Yeah, look how
lights
bright
until-
this hallway
This
is.
is just amazingly
It's
bright.
amazingly bright, yeah.
Yeah. We're now on the east side of the house, and the kitchen is in this area and breakfast area, and it had counters, so I couldn't build the wall in, and therefore I built the wall out with polyiso.
Right.
So you can see the old wall level here where the garage is, and then the new wall level, and it's kind of hidden because the downspout
Right.
makes the transition for you. Now,
You can also see that difference here.
yeah, you see it because I didn't want to move all the electronics
Right.
for the solar system and the general fuse box, but all of the windows are now recessed, and I
Right.
put slanted ledge, aluminum wrapped. So this in the kitchen that used to be R9, it's now up to R50, and the dining room that had already come into R68 is now the R104.
Right, right.
So this is what it looks like when finished. I do have a plan to make another enclosure that'll be glass, that'll be a walk-through, and then I can have Georgia-type espalier trees. I have the Florida-type espalier trees in the other sunroom, and this will let me have I'm blocking, but anyway, persimmons and things like that won't survive our climate. But I want to just go back to the numbers and say, before doing the work in 2000, and let's take 2002, I had 14 tons of carbon I was putting into the atmosphere. This last year, basically, the average on these 3 years, I took 7 tons on net out of the atmosphere.
How do you take it out of the atmosphere?
Well, that's because I'm exporting a lot of surplus electricity to the grid, and that makes the grid's demand on the power plants less, so they burn less coal.
So you don't get money, and you don't keep those for rolling them over. You get a check every January.
Well, I used to do that. They only give you 2 cents, 2.8
Yeah, right, I
cents.
know.
So, no, but I mean, I'm putting it into the grid, but from not a dollar standpoint, an energy. I'm talking energy
yeah.
carbon.
That's true. You
I'm
are
talking energy
sorry,
carbon,
sorry.
not dollars.
Yeah, everyone should roll over their
Yeah.
excess
and,
PV.
and now I'm rolling it over because I got 2 plug-in cars,
Yeah.
and you never know. I will soon have a charger, a level 2 charger outside and one in the garage. They're both in boxes in the garage, and the installer hasn't gotten them in yet.
Okay.
So I will be having all visitors have the capability to plug in when they come.
Okay.
At level 2. Now, from the natural gas, so going back again, and I want you to see that natural gas went up in 2002, but that's because electricity went down. That was the conversion from the incandescent bulbs to the compact
CFLs.
fluorescent CFLs, and that meant that I wasn't heating with incandescent bulbs anymore. And so this is really the benchmark heating, and that was 1,095.
So there's measurable heat from those incandescent bulbs.
Yes, there's a lot of here. The graph is dramatic on that point.
Yeah,
and
that's
so then,
interesting.
so
I didn't know it was that
1,095
measurable.
Yeah, 1,095 therms, 62 therms. So it's a reduction
Right.
of 94.7%
Yeah.
of the natural gas usage.
When will you get rid of your natural gas completely?
Well, I could do it immediately because I have enough surplus electricity
to heat the house.
that I could heat the house with the electricity. I don't want to do that until I do a few more projects to try to bring the natural gas usage down to like 20 or 30 annual therms.
Yeah.
And so, well, Jim, hey, It's been great. I know you've got a lot of other houses you got to get around to for the Golden Solar Home Tour. I think this year's tour is going to be superb. I just saw a house over in Arvada, newly built, earth bermed by, and the guy did his own engineering, which is neat. He had been coming on solar home tours for a lot of years, Steve Nixon and his wife.
And he learned something from
And well, they did all the right things. They learned from past tours.
Yeah.
And so I think you'll probably be over there shooting soon.
Yeah.
And
Everyone who wants to learn about sustainability and what you can do to reduce your carbon footprint should study this video and those other videos very carefully.
yeah, and then come on the tour because
Yeah.
in person you get a lot
The
more
first
chance.
Saturday in October.
Saturday, October 5th, Golden, Colorado.
Thank you
and
very
surrounding
much.
Suburbs. You're
Steve
very welcome.
Stevens, I appreciate it.
Okay.
I appreciate you.